Welcome back to the Gamecock 22 YouTube channel, and it's conference realignment time again. So today we have an updated conference realignment, and this one has no power conferences. All the conferences are even, and there are no major BCS or college football playoff bowls, and there's no college football playoff. There's just a national championship game like a week or so after the college football New Year's Day, those types of bowls. Okay, so now let's get on to these new conferences, and here's some ground rules. There will be all conferences will have between 8 and 12 teams, and all conferences with 12 or more. No, not 12 or more. Sorry. 10 or more teams will play 9 games, and of course the teams with the conferences with 8 teams will play seven conference games, and the ones with 9 will play 8. All right, let's get on with the conferences. Well, the ACC is back to its Southeast Atlantic roots of Clemson, Duke, Florida State, Maryland, Miami, UNC, NC State, South Carolina, Virginia, Virginia Tech, and Wake Forest. I put Maryland and South Carolina back in the conference for obvious reasons. Like, those were all the rivalries are, and it's a little bit more geographical. And the original 8 teams are here, along with Florida State, Miami, and Virginia Tech, which I feel like fit in this conference. So yeah, this is the ACC. Here is the Big East Conference. We have it at 10 teams, and the teams that are in it are Boston College, Cincinnati, UConn, Louisville, Penn State, Pitt, Rutgers, Syracuse, Temple, and West Virginia. This conference has a lot of rivalries, like Pitt and West Virginia, Pitt and Penn State, and others like Cincinnati and Louisville. I could go on, but this is just a great conference. It's geographical, and I like the way it worked out. Here we have the Big 8 Conference. We're bringing it back with Colorado, Iowa State, Kansas, Kansas State, Missouri, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State. There's not much to say here, but I like the rivalries here. Oklahoma and Nebraska, I'm glad to see that back. It's just a really good conference. The Big 10 is back to 10. With Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, Michigan State, Minnesota, Northwestern, Ohio State, Purdue, and Wisconsin. Again, there's not a whole lot to say. It's just the normal Big 10, and I think it looks like a good conference. The Conference USA. This conference, I have it at 12 teams, and I think it actually looks pretty good. We have UAB, UCF, Coastal Carolina, East Carolina, James Madison, Liberty, Louisiana Tech, Memphis, Old Dominion, South Florida, Southern Miss, and Tulsa. I think it looks good, and it's a Southeast conference for the most part, except for some of them, like Tulsa, which is kind of out in the more southwest or middle of the nation. But overall, it's pretty geographical, and this would be a fun conference to watch. So here in the MAC, we got rid of Buffalo for a few reasons. One of them being they're not necessarily as geographic. They're in the Northeast, and we added in a more natural fit in Miami. I know, not Miami. They're already in there. Marshall, and I think it looks good. We have Akron, Ball State, Bowling Green, Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Kent State, Marshall, Miami of Ohio, Northern Illinois, Ohio, Toledo, and Western Michigan. Not a whole lot to say, but I really like this conference. Here in the Mountain West, we really put the Mountain and the West in the Mountain West, with Air Force, BYU, Colorado State, New Mexico, Nevada, UNLV, Utah, Utah State, and Wyoming. It's very traditional, and it has a lot of rivals. I like this conference. I think it'll be good. And staying in the West Coast, we have the Pac-10 with Arizona, Arizona State, Cal, UCLA, Oregon, Oregon State, Southern Cal, Stanford, Washington, Washington State. This place, this conference is it's a smart conference with smart schools like Southern Cal. But one thing, they may be smart, but their political ideology is a little crazy, but I'm not going to get into that. This SEC has 12 teams, and it's traditional, and it reminds me of how it was in the 50s. It has Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Georgia Tech returning, Kentucky, LSU, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Tennessee, Tulane returning, and Vanderbilt. I added those two schools back into the conference, and I got rid of South Carolina, Missouri, Arkansas, and Texas A&M. And I think the conference looks extremely geographical and is certainly a southeastern conference. The SoCon, we are moving up, and this conference has 9 teams: Appalachian State, Chattanooga, the Citadel, ETSU, Furman, Georgia Southern, VMI, Western Carolina, and Wofford. I like this conference. I really, really do. And we're also bringing back the Southwest Conference. And this conference has Arkansas, Baylor, Houston, Rice, SMU, Texas, Texas A&M, TCU, and Texas Tech. And I like the look of this conference. I like the Southwest look, and I just like the tradition in this conference, and it's a shame that it went away. Here we have the Sun Belt with Arkansas State, Florida Atlantic, Florida International, Georgia State, Louisiana, Louisiana Monroe, Middle Tennessee State, South Alabama, Troy, North Texas, and Western Kentucky. Mouthful of names. Great job, universities. But I like the look of this conference. It's pretty traditional, and I mean, that was the goal. I mean, tradition is what I've gone for with these realignments, so I like the look of this one. The least geographic conference in this realignment is the Western Athletic Conference, with Boise State, Fresno State, Hawaii, Idaho, New Mexico State, San Diego State, San Jose State, UTEP, UTSA, and Texas State. It's kind of all over the place, but you know, I like this conference. And we only have the traditional 3 independents, as being Army, Navy, and Notre Dame. And there's not much to say here. Just, you know, tradition, just the independents. I know that I've done this before, but you know, I really think I nailed it this time. And as always, I'd like to know what you would change in the comments. And Spurs up.